It's the NLW podcast with NLW and another guest this week. You probably know who they are.
Is it my turn to?
It's your turn to speak because that was me introducing you to the NLW podcast.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were like gonna pick me up here. It's someone from the second podcast that you do. It's the underwhelming pig.
No, you're being too harsh on yourself. No, it's fine. We are Pigs and Thugs, obviously, on that channel. That's where we talk about wrestling. Obviously, I try and keep the NLW talk on that one to a minimum because I don't want to big myself up. But this is the NLW podcast now, so I'm going to big up NLW and talk about NLW. And there's nothing you can do about it.
There is. I can simply mute you on Discord.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, so it would just be me talking by myself, I suppose. But that's fine because we have a lot to talk about. I thought you actually said, because I wasn't going to do a podcast this week, and you said to me that we should. And of course, the Royal Rumble's just happened, and I feel like that's quite a significant thing. So we're definitely going to talk about WrestleMania and what happened at the Royal Rumble, and we'll talk about all the crazy shenanigans that went on there. And we'll probably talk about Elite 101 as well, because we've just seen those figures have just been released. So that's including the new American Nightmare. Did you see that?
The American Nightmare. I would have you know that I don't think Cody's the America's Nightmare. I think it's given individuals rights. It's the Nightmare of America. That's just me.
True that. I mean, but yeah, misprinted on all the boxes.
You're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to nod and just go, no, not on this podcast.
Oh yeah, of course. Pigs and Thugs is when we get controversial. This is where we do what's the word? We do normie takes here.
Yeah, we don't discuss the border. We just talk individually, and then on the Pigs and Thugs we go over the border and we start ranting like we did about Owen Hart and Hulk Hogan's you know what.
Oh yeah. Keep it PG on this one because I've got to monetize this.
You've got to. We can swear after.
We can swear after. The Pigs and Thugs is where we get all that juicy, cutting insight into wrestling. I mean, you'll get a bit of it here. But obviously, because this is the NLW podcast, I feel like I haven't done an update on NLW for a while. So here it is. I mean, if you've seen my community post on the main channel, you'll know that I'm thinking at the moment that, obviously, I've started WrestleMania. I started it today, actually. So I've been filming like a bunch of Tron stuff and like doing the first entrance for the first match. And yeah, just really, I've set up the WrestleMania arena. So I want to do like an actual video on that stage reveal at some point, maybe in the next 2 weeks. I definitely want to get a Road to WrestleMania video out as well, where I go over each of the storylines. And then I'm hoping to split WrestleMania up into 8 parts, and that includes like a buy-in couple of matches as well, which will be pick-fed, and then the rest will be stop motion, and that'll be coming out over the next couple of weeks. You know, I'm trying not to burn out, because it is a big kind of milestone for me, because this is the storylines that I've been building up for like 2 years, and it's a show that I really want to come out looking, you know, one of my best shows ever. So yeah, be patient, but I know you guys will be, and I appreciate it that you've, and I hope you enjoy it when it comes out, and yeah, as well, yeah.
And I just want to say a little peek behind the curtain. Since I am a co-host of Pigs and Thugs, and since I run a promotion on his channel, I was exclusively brought to the business meeting, and I exclusively was shown the stage, and you fans are in for a treat. I tell you one thing.
Yeah, thank you. I really like. So this is one that it's going to utilise lights. Well, not actual lights, but it will utilise the new gen entryway, and I think that's going to give it a new sort of dynamic. I also, in post production, I'm going to try and add some pyro as well to make it feel more big time. And I'm very much looking forward to filming all the matches. They're all written down. There's going to be a bunch of cool spots on there, and I hope at the end of it you'll say, wow, that was a really good NLW pay-per-view. And yeah, and speaking of which, you know, you are the kayfabe owner of XL Pro, and we've been talking about that because I've started filming some matches for that too, which hopefully I'll be putting up on the Patreon at some point soon as like an initial cut. Obviously it will be extended once WrestleMania is finished, and I'll get back to that, but yeah, I've been filming a bunch of new pick-fed stuff in a new style, and I'm really enjoying that too. So, yeah, the only thing that I've been lacking motivation on is just trying to start WrestleMania. Obviously today, I just wasn't feeling up to it, but I'll probably be feeling a little bit more up for it in the next couple of days. Just depends how much time I really have. So, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, like, the reason I wanted you on today, Piggy, was because the main topic of conversation I wanted to bring up today, it's not just NLW.
Elite 100.
What? Elite 100?
It was Elite 101 was the main topic, not a
Oh, of course.
Saturday.
Well, you know what? We'll tease people and we'll make people wait for the Royal Rumble chat. That'll be coming soon. But first of all, we'll talk about Elite 101 because that had a lot of cool attires and things of that nature. There's only one from that set that I'm like desperate to get though, and I think you know who it is.
Is it Johnny Knoxville?
It is Johnny Knoxville, and
you will gladly be getting Johnny Knoxville for your birthday from me.
I very much appreciate that, and I legally am obliged to make a match for you because you've bought the figure. So
I can legally oblige the match. I can legally say the match, can't I? That I want you to film.
You can absolutely, yeah. You can say it. You can say it.
Well. All I'm going to say is this match is going to be explosive. All I'll say is someone might be involved who you don't think should be involved, but I will give away the wrestlers involved. They will be, of course, Johnny Knoxville, Kenny Omega, who might be working with someone in XL Pro. That's all I'll say. He might be working with someone.
And
who?
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely out of the blue. You won't see it coming who he'll be working with. I'll tell you that much.
In this XL Pro thing, I've been fairly secretive about it, apart from like making match requests for a couple of people. Obviously, I've kind of mentioned it there. So I've kind of... What I'm trying to do with this XL Pro thing is have it run as like an independent wrestling promotion. You know how like you see wrestlers popping up in other promotions like independent wrestling feds, and they might still be contracted to like Impact or AEW, you know. So they might have different storylines, different characters, but it's all more kind of canon, so you'll see a lot more integration between the NLW stuff, the metal stuff, and the XL Pro stuff that's going on. So it's quite a task to figure out when stuff's going to be uploaded and try and make it all make sense. But I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I think that having these match requests as well from the Patreon viewers, it's given me a lot of things to kind of work with creatively, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Johnny Knoxville definitely one I want to get. And although I must say I'm really tempted by that Cody Rhodes, it does look like a sick figure. I don't know, are there any in that set that you're like, oh, I need to get these?
Well, am I allowed to say the word bitch on this channel?
Well, you said it now, so yeah, go on.
Well, I need one figure because he was bitched out by Sean O'Hare, and I think you know who I'm on about.
Oh yeah. Two variants.
Two veterans, Mr. America. The one thing that annoys me, though, about the Mr. America boxing, and I understand people will go, it's a box, for Christ's sake. When was Mr. America WWE champion and tag team champion?
He wasn't.
Yeah, but on the box it says he was.
Well, they also called Cody the American Nightmare, so I don't know what they're doing, what they're smoking over at Mattel headquarters. Again,
the best thing though, if he becomes, I know in Canada, the best thing I love is our boxes over here in England and Ireland and in just anywhere that's not America. Our boxes don't give the description of wrestlers, so we'll miss out on Johnny Knoxville's brilliant description. What is Johnny Knoxville's description? You ask. Johnny Knoxville's description is... I have it here somewhere. Give 1 second. I love Johnny Knoxville's description. That is a funny one. Oh yeah, Johnny Knoxville's description says Johnny Knoxville's from Knoxville, Tennessee. He's 6'1", 1.8 m. His weight is 2 cheeseburgers away from 175 lb / 79.4 kg, and his finisher is the giant mousetrap.
That is a killer finisher as well. That's good. What is the reason that we don't get the description on the box? Because I've only just noticed that too.
The reason we don't get it is because we're getting Canada's orders. We're not getting America's imports. We're getting Canada's. Basically, anywhere except for America gets Canada's or France's import because you can't. It's harder to. I think it's just because it's harder to translate. Like two cheeseburgers away from.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that makes sense, I suppose.
In French, in German, in Swedish. So that's why in the Canadian ones, basically our box I call it the Canadian ones because Canada is the exact same as well. They get the big, massive box art unless it's a US import. Basically, our boxes are just the wrestlers that are bigger. Like, it's basically the picture is bigger on our box, and the wrestlers who are also in the line are a bit smaller, I think, or a bit larger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get now that you said it, yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I understand. Yeah, I get you. Like, that makes sense that it would be easier for distribution, I guess. But in that case, why wouldn't you just not have the description on in the first place? I don't know. Still a nice little thing, I suppose. Bit interesting trivia I didn't know. And the stuff that went down. I mean, is there any other Elite news really? There's not really any Elite news to come out recently.
Elite Legends 18 and 19 have been revealed. Well, 18's gone up for pre-order, and Legends 19 has come out, or has been revealed.
And who's in that line?
Undertaker, not Karma, whatever his nation or domination gimmick was. D'Lo Brown, who is the Chase. So you get D'Lo in black gear and blue and black gear, and Dude Love.
Oh, not a bad lineup. I like that.
And I don't know if we're allowed to talk about leagues or it's contractually obligated that we do not talk about leagues. But an insider named Davey, I think his name is. Like, I'm not giving away his name. Like, I'm just giving a fake name. He has leaked some stuff. So that includes the Survivor Series set. And the top picks and Elite 103. So,
was it Stardust one of them?
Stardust is in Elite 103 and he's the Chase.
Oh, I see. That'll be an interesting one.
I can read out the leaks if you want me to.
Yeah, go on.
I will. Just give me 1 second. I have to go find it.
Yeah, because Stardust was one that was the one that I saw, and I was like, that's a weird one to be choosing, but I suppose each to their own, really. We're going to be seeing Stardust versus Cody Rhodes in a lot of feds moving forward then, aren't we?
Yeah. So Elite 102 is Edge, Theory as Chase, Gunter, or Falter, Sami Zayn, Rhea Ripley, and Commissioner Foley, the fourth face of Foley. Elite 103 is Lashley, Reigns, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Liv Morgan, Stardust, and Stardust as Chase. And the greatest hits 2 is Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Seth Rollins, Batista, King Harley Race, and DDP. And the SummerSlam wave is Hulk Hogan, Dolph Ziggler, Jey Uso, Zeus, Mr. Perfect, and apparently the Survivor Series line is Shawn Michaels, Charlotte, Jerry the King Lawler, Kevin Owens, British Bulldog, Build-A-Figure, and top picks is apparently Rey Mysterio, Matt Riddle, and Cody Rhodes. And Ultimate Edition 18 is apparently Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Randy Orton. Now, whether these are true or not, I don't know.
I think we might have seen a couple of images of the prototypes, haven't we? Maybe for the Randy Orton? I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong.
No, we haven't. We've
only
only
seen
seen them there, so it's all just he said, she said. Like, you could basically come out and say that Gronk's going to be the next Ultimate Edition line.
You never know. I mean, I
But
get
you
it.
never know.
Speaking of Gronk, actually, I've been getting into some NFL recently. You know.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've been like trying to keep up with it in going into the Super Bowl because I never understood the rules, but the rules are a lot simpler than they try and explain. You know, they give out all these statistics and stuff, but literally it's just you tackle someone, you try and run as far as you can and get a touchdown. That's it. You know, it's not as complicated as they make it sound. But I was entertained by it. The game's gone on for a long time. Yeah, rugby, yeah. But it's not rugby, is it? It's like, because rugby is a continuous thing, like you tackle and then you steal, but as soon as you get tackled in the NFL, that's different.
It's basically soft rugby, because you're wearing all these massive shoulder pads, and it's basically soft rugby.
Then again, I saw someone give, I think it was the Eagles game, 49ers were getting a bit aggressive, and one of them hit like a rock bottom on another player, and I was like, oh, damn. So,
That's not allowed.
Yeah, what?
Is that allowed in NFL?
No, this was during a timeout. They're arguing with the refs.
I was like, I'm just imagining one person's like, look, lad, I'm going to hit a Canadian destroyer on these.
I mean, pretty much they were disqualified from the game, and it was like, oh dear, this is getting. But I was entertained by it, you know. I'm very much kind of the person who will get, if I find a new thing, I'll invest my time 100% into that thing. I don't know if you get that.
No, I don't. No.
It's because I'm a bit obsessed. Maybe I've got an obsessive personality. I'm not too sure. You know, you wouldn't be able to tell with my mountains of wrestling figures and such. But you know, we speak about Elite 101. I'm doing so well so far this year to not buy any wrestling toys, and I think I should be commended. No, have you? What's your most recent pickup?
I literally have just shown you. It's the Elite Ultimate Jeff Hardy.
Oh, that one, yeah, yeah.
I've also got the Terry Funk Ultimate Edition with Hulk Hogan. So,
oh, that's very cool. Yeah.
And shipping to Ireland is not actually that expensive. It wasn't.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, because it always puts me off.
Shipping was like $15, and I was like, "What for what?"
Yeah, I mean that's okay.
Not even Ringside charge $15 for 2 figures.
No, that's true. But then I don't know, the price hikes on a lot of figures are putting me off a bit. But I'm sure once sales come in, I'm trying to save up for a PS5, you know. But I'm kind of on the fence as if I want to make that investment, you know. It's like they say January is quite a depressing month because you spent all your money over Christmas and now you're in kind of a lull.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to recover. I'm never going to financially recover from this. And
you're like Ian Beale from EastEnders. I've lost all my money. I've got no money spent. I've nothing left.
Ricky.
No, you did it wrong. It's
Ricky.
All right, at the Ben Mitchell one, my favourite line: "You need slapping down." There's a cat one I love as well, where Cat's I think she's in a jail cell, and she's talking to someone, and she's like, "I didn't become a total slag. I became an absolute slag." No, she doesn't say slag like that. She says slag, not slag.
Slag. I can't do it.
Yeah, she says slag,
I'm
not
bad at accents.
Like the way I do it.
Yeah, you slag. That's not a bad word, is it? Well, it is.
No.
Not in international terms. No, I'm sure it's fine. Doesn't have any meaning in the States. It's fine.
You also didn't mention the best EastEnders catchphrase.
Yeah. Get out of my pub.
You cow.
Oh, I thought you meant get out of my pub.
Oh yeah, that one is well, boss. You bitch. You cow.
Oh. Well, that's a plug we'll do for your Watching Walford EastEnders podcast. Oh
yeah, that I cheekily subscribe to on the Six and Fergs podcast.
I did notice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's if you're into your British soaps, I know it's going to be a completely different cross section of audience for a wrestling figure podcast than an EastEnders podcast, but it's still worth a watch, worth a listen as well. So check out Watching Walford if you can. There you go.
Thank you.
And before, let's just talk about the Royal Rumble. We won't go into too much detail about it because I'll be honest with you. I watched the Mountain Dew match. Very silly concept. And I'm not going to lie, I really liked it. I'll talk about that first, actually. The Mountain Dew match. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. The gear was awesome. The lighting reveal was awesome. I love all the glowing stuff. I like the face paint. I don't know. The only problem is it's still in its vague stage, and I feel like they need to have more. I don't know. I'm all for long-term storytelling and that, but maybe it probably could be picked up the pace a little bit. It's been 3 months since he's been back. Maybe things need to be a bit more clear, like motivation-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the whole Bray Wyatt stuff that's going on at the moment?
I've never liked how Bray Wyatt has been used. I probably went on a rant I did go on a rant on the Pigs and Parks podcast about Bray Wyatt. Because Bray Wyatt, they've never separated the characters. They've always been the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. They're Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt. I'm like, this man has personality disorder in kayfabe, lads. in kayfabe before you get mad at me in kayfabe. This man has personality disorder. And basically, how I think it should be booked, he should have different personalities, but not be known as Bray Wyatt's personality.
Yeah.
So, like, one week he's a fiend and he's out of control and he's just grabbing people, breaking their necks. In kayfabe, breaking their necks. Not actually, because that would be very weird to explain to your child what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week he could be like the Firefly Funhouse, like, hello, I don't know what happened last week. That was someone else. I'll see you now. I have to go to the pub. And then the following week he could be cult leader, you know, trying to recruit people. I understand he said he doesn't want to be cult leader, Bray, because of Brody. That's basically because Brody Lee's never going to be there with him again.
Okay, yeah, so, that makes sense. But
so that one's retired. But I'd love if each week he had a different personality. Like, you know, like how Cactus Jack like would appear one week on Raw, and then the other week Mick Foley would appear, and the other week Mankind would, and then finally Duke Love would.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or like how Duke Love was a heel, Cactus Jack was a face, Mick Foley was a tweener.
Yeah, and it all kind of, in kayfabe, it was like, well, obviously people could tell it was not Bray Wyatt, it was Mick Foley, but it was treated in kayfabe as different people, you know, and different uses for storylines and things like that. Like when they did the Mankind Triple H feud and they had Cactus Jack come out on that Raw and Dude Love and all that, and yeah, more like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll see what happens heading into WrestleMania. I'm very interested to see what they do with him. You know, there's no point talking about the women's match. It was nothing really. But the women's Royal Rumble and the men's Royal Rumble, I've only actually seen the men's Royal Rumble, I'll be honest. And I haven't gone through and watched... Well, first of all, I was spoiled on the women's Royal Rumble, so that's why I didn't really want to watch it. But from all accounts, it seemed okay. Like, I'm just going to say it right now. Nia Jax being back is not something that I like. Yeah.
I find Nia Jax is up there with Baron Corbin in terms of heat. She does not literally need to do anything. She could literally just step outside her front door and she'd have more heat than MJF, and it's mental.
But it's real life heat because she's a horrible person. She's a horrible person by all accounts, isn't she?
Is she?
Well, she's like weird conspiracy stuff and, you know, things of that nature that make her a bit unlikable, you know, aside from like the injury, like causing injuries and just being generally unsafe, you know.
And she is back, by the way. It's not a one-night appearance. She has a T-shirt out as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm confused as to why you would bring her back. She was also trying to throw other people under the bus. It felt like when she was fired, she was like, oh, I've got all these secrets, and then she's being all kind of weird and cryptic about it online, and I don't know. And as a character as well, I'm not into her at all. Like, I can excuse people. I don't want to say that someone shouldn't have a job, because that would be horrible. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Oh, but you can excuse Logan Paul for abusing your pig and abandoning it and scamming all these fans. But you can excuse that because he's a good wrestler. But like, Nia Jax being nutty.
There's a scale of horrible person to talent level, I think, where you can tolerate it. You can tolerate watching it. Even Logan Paul, when he came out, I was like, oh, I sighed big time. I was like, I do not care. And at least, you know, he was booked like a jackass, and he did the spot with Ricochet was amazing, so I'll give him that, you know. But that was the only thing that was really like, oh, that and Nia were the only things on that show that I was like, not furious about, but just like, oh, for God's sake, that kind of thing, you know, that kind of like, sigh reaction, really. But I really did enjoy the men's Royal Rumble. I thought it was really good, and people say, oh, predictability. Predictability isn't a bad thing, in my opinion. Like, they definitely potentially could have gone with Gunther. I know, like, there was almost 1,000,000% chance that it wasn't going to be Gunther winning, but they made you, in that final stretch, believe that it could be for a second. You know, you never know with these kind of things. But yeah, Cody being back looked great. I'm glad to see him back. Glad he's going to WrestleMania, but... and I'm also really happy that Rhea Ripley won the Women's Royal Rumble. I mean, I'm so Her theme song slaps, by the way. It's Motionless in White, and it's a very good song. And yeah, but what did you think about the Royal Rumbles and the winners?
And I know people are going to go, Edge is the third person to do it. He's not. He came out at number 2. Rhea Ripley is now the third person to win a Royal Rumble from number 1. Like, only 3 people have done it.
And she's the only woman to do it now.
Yeah. Shawn Michaels is the other one. And that's it. We don't talk about the middleman.
But also the Shawn Michaels one wasn't as impressive because it was like shorter intervals and the match only lasted 40 minutes, but she went in there for like an hour something, you know. And Gunther as well set a record, I believe, for longest time spent in a Rumble at like 1 hour 10 minutes or something. I think that was one of the longest Rumbles they've ever done. So that's an interesting little fact. Yeah, so Gunther really showing up in this night. The Sheamus and McIntyre as well worked really cool together. People say, oh, this Rumble sucked. Like, did you watch last year's?
I think I did.
That was brutal. Absolutely
horrible.
Horrible Rumbles, yeah. Be grateful.
Well, there was actually 2 moments I loved in last year's Rumble. One was when Johnny Knoxville came out and was actually shoot fighting with AJ. Like, he absolutely threw real punches at AJ, I think.
That was good. I like that.
And then when Bad Bunny got in the ring, stood up next to Brock Lesnar and just got absolutely battered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. Those were highlights of a terrible, terrible Rumble. But this one, this one was as predictable, if not more so, I would say. Both of them. But, it just goes to show you that the execution was a lot different. And also, Asuka looks absolutely awesome. Like, her new look, inject that. I love it. Hopefully it's Asuka versus Belair and Rhea versus Charlotte. But I don't know why. Like, you wouldn't cheer Charlotte over Rhea. I don't know. It's weird having Charlotte Flair as a face. She's someone that I'm like... It's that kind of thing where I don't want to go all like... like people get mad about Charlotte because she's won all of everything and it's that Roman Reigns, John Cena type stuff. But now I'm looking back on the Roman and Cena stuff. I feel ridiculous for hating it so much, And I'm trying to be the same with Charlotte here. Give her the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. What would you do at WrestleMania? What would your main events be?
Do you want to... Will I run down the card?
Don't run down the card, but just say what the women's title match. Yeah.
To me, and I understand this is going to be controversial, there's going to be people going, well, I personally think, Piggy, you're wrong. Gladly tell me I'm wrong. I think after the horrendous, and I mean horrendous finish to the WrestleMania 35 match between Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. Who's Fair? Fair City. I think Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair should main event night 2 of WrestleMania. Night 1 should be main evented by Cody versus Roman. Night 2 should open with Roman versus Sami, unless you're getting The Rock, which I think is highly unlikely. I think they're saving The Rock for next year. I think. Because wouldn't he have just returned at the Rumble if he was coming back?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they don't want to, I think they genuinely believe that they could get him for this year's WrestleMania. That's why there were so many kind of hints towards it just in case. But I do think now the time has been and gone. And I think also the Bloodline stuff is so hot right now that it's fine that he's not back. It doesn't really matter, which is a credit to them actually.
Because to me, and I understand people will go, well, The Rock's the bigger star. Now I understand there's 19 years of a difference here. And I understand circumstances are different, but we will compare He Shall Not Be Named to this. Sami Zayn literally is the Bryan Danielson, the He Shall Not Be Named person. Like, to me, the better story is having Sami Zayn cause these frictions in the bloodline. I understand he's not in the bloodline anymore, but he's the reason why the Solo Sikoa stays with Roman, and the Usos are like, maybe we did a bad thing, maybe we shouldn't have attacked them. And then they slowly integrate, and then you basically have you have Cody win the WWE title, Sami win the Universal title, and then Roman goes absolutely ballistic. Can't trust anyone. Basically, you have a year long where he can't trust anyone, and then at next year's Rumble, if yes, smell what he is cooking, and then he comes out, and then because Roman versus Rock doesn't need a title, basically, and I don't think that match should happen at this year's Mania because you're taking away someone who could fight Roman for the second title, unless you're going to have Cody win or you're going to have Sami win at the Chamber.
Do you know what I would do? And this is obviously, I don't know where they're going to go with it right now because they really should have Sami Zayn dethrone Roman. Like I'll talk about that ending. Wrestling is cinema. It's beautiful. That ending of that Royal Rumble was one of the best things I've ever seen as a wrestling fan, no joke. And the pop when Sami hit Roman with that chair broke the audio scale on the pay-per-view. Like, it peaked so hard that it distorted the audio, and you can tell, man, that the Sami Zayn thing is over to such an extent, and I think they really should pull the trigger. I think this will be one of those biggest what ifs, you know. But I think the problem is that I feel like wrestling fans have become so jaded that they're not pushing for it because they understand that it's, I don't know, which is kind of good because there's other options there. It's not like Sami Zayn is the only option to go for, but I'm telling you what,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because how I would basically book it is I would have Roman, because Roman is this, like, I don't want to say gangster, but he's like this mob leader who can pull strings. I basically would have Roman gain the ears of Adam Pearce, be like, look, man, I've got this great idea. Then you get 5 big beefy men. I don't know, Gunter, I can't think of anyone else, but you get 5 big beefy boys in the Elimination Chamber, and then you have Sami Zayn fight valiantly against all these people, and he wins, and he's like, Roman, I'm coming for you on night 2 or night 1, and then Sami wins in the main event of night 1, and Cody can either open night 2 or main event night 2, and then basically you have Roman. He's like, I'm literally about to blow Paul. I'm about to blow my mind. Everyone is screwing me, and then he just snaps. He batters Paul Heyman. He batters the Usos. Not Solo. Solo sticks with him. That's it.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that, but I honestly, I don't know. The more I think about it, like, Cody needs to win that WWE Championship. In any other time, it would be at WrestleMania now. But I feel like you got to feed Cody to Roman on night 1 and have Sami win the Universal on night 2, and then you can build the Roman versus Cody for SummerSlam, and then maybe you have like a shenanigans-filled match where The Rock returns, potentially costing Roman, and Cody wins the title there, you know. But that's just my opinion. And then maybe you do Seth and Cody at next year's Mania for the WWE one. But it's cool that it's unpredictable at this moment. Obviously, Cody winning the Rumble was predictable, but in a good way, you know. The thing that I'm thinking about is now, like, WrestleMania, how are they going to get there? How are they going to be able to navigate this Sami Zayn situation? And it wouldn't be terribly disappointing if it didn't end with Sami Zayn winning the championship, because I feel like there is there's other ways you can have like a cathartic ending to it. But the whole Sami Zayn thing, I don't know, if you didn't want him to be too over, you could have saved this angle for WrestleMania and that's why Cody wins, you know what I mean? And then you do like a story over the year of Sami Zayn trying to beat Roman again. I don't know. But it's all so intriguing at this moment in time, and yeah, it's definitely a cool thing for wrestling. And anyway, AEW is doing pretty good too. But that's just a side note. Like the shows have been pretty good in 2023, so it's looking up. Things are looking up in this early wrestling stages. So yeah, I mean that's our Rumble chat. It's been very interesting. Obviously our Pigs and Fergs, they go a lot longer than this, so I'll kind of give out a shout out to Pigs and Fergs. Do you want to shout out? Can you remember what episode we just uploaded?
We uploaded the Royal Rumble. If this is coming out this week, which it should be, just hold on to your horses. Unless Ferg's editing this, then you don't have to hold on to your horse, because Ferg will just jump cut to this. The next episode on the Pigs and Fergs podcast is surprise the Raw on the 3rd of February at 9 o'clock. So
Yeah, that's
be
it.
prepared.
Correct, and that'll be good.
It's
you
the
should.
shortest episode yet we have done, excluding the bonus episodes. It's the shortest episode, so it will be like you're watching NLW doing a podcast again.
Exactly, and we have a good laugh, don't we? Have a good time.
We have a good time.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out, Pigs and Fergs. It'll be in the description to subscribe there. And
we are to give a little hint on this podcast to intrigue you. We are 2 episodes away. Well, you already know one of our arcs. It's 08. We are 2 episodes away from starting a new arc on the Pigs and Fergs podcast. So be on the lookout for that.
Very much so. We're trying to build a catalogue of like us talking about wrestling shows to the point where we're gonna eventually have talked about everything ever. Maybe we'll see. But we've got so much cool stuff planned, and I've got some cool stuff planned because WrestleMania is coming out very, very soon. Please be patient though. I'm trying my best to film it. I'm just very, very tired. I'm a tired little boy right now, so you can bear with me on that. But I promise you, it's coming, and I've got the stage set up and everything. I'm filming stuff, and it's exciting. So look out for WrestleMania coming very, very soon. And as for this channel, I'm probably going to put up a video on Thursday, maybe. I don't know. Things are up in the air right now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be an NLW fan and a wrestling fan in general. And I'll give you a shout out to my patrons. I'll just have them up. Thank you to, I'm just going to do it, Leif, Brother Duzan RSW, Piggy Wiggy 8, that's you, Jason Beggs, Kid Zap, Casey Hellschool, Devin Downlin, Ryan McCarthy, Cupid, Brandon Furman, Cringe God, Flynn Lampkin and John. Woo! Thank you all for being patrons. I love your support. Thank you very much. If you want to support the channel for just $1, WrestleMania will be being uploaded there early, so that'll be something to check out soon, and you can request matches. It's all good, it's all groovy. Head over to the Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you to Piggy for being on this NLW podcast.
Woo! We have a video in the works for this channel as well, so woo!
Woo! We do, indeed, and you'll find that out very, very soon. But in the meantime, thanks for listening to the podcast, and I'll catch you guys later.